Hello everyone, I Dr. Sanjay Srivastava, faculty of J&MC from Tecnia Institute of Advanced Studies. Today I am going to deliver a lecture on the topic of characteristics of radio. First, radio makes picture. Remember the example of running commentary on radio of the Republic Day parade in Delhi? As you hear the commentary, you could visualize or see in your mind what was being described. You could actively see picture in your mind of the parade even as you listened to the sounds of the band playing patriotic tune or the sound of marching and commands. You use your power of imagination as you follow the running commentary. Second, the speed of radio. Radio is the fastest medium. It is instant as things happen in a studio or outside, masses can be sent or broadcast. These messages can be picked up by anyone who has a radio set or receiver which is tuned into a radio station. If you have a television set, the cable or satellite connections, you may be using a remote to get your favorite channels. These days, if you have a satellite connection, you can also receive radio signals of various AIR stations. Otherwise, your normal radio sets give the meter or frequency on which various radio stations operate. You are tuned into that station and listen to news that happened a few minutes earlier. On the other hand, a newspaper gives you the previous day news. Of course, television can also cover events instantly, but television is a more complex medium where you need light and cameras for any coverage. Third, simplicity of radio. Compared to all other media, radio is simple to use. As mentioned in the previous sections, radio needs very simple technology and equipments. Radio is inexpensive. As it is simple, it is also a cheaper medium. The cost of production is low and a small radio can be bought for as low a price as say 50 rupees. Next one, radio does not need electric power supply. You can listen to radio using dry battery cells even if you do not have electricity power supply or a generator. So, in a country like ours where electricity has not reached everywhere, radio is a great blessing. Next one, a radio receiver is portable. Don't you move your radio set at home from the living room to the kitchen or as you go out somewhere. So, cannot do that very easily with television. This facility of moving an object, which is called portability, gives radio an advantages. These days, if you have a car and a radio in it, you can listen to it as you drive or travel. Can you think of watching television when you drive? Next one does not have to be literate to listen to radio. Unless you are literate, you cannot read a newspaper or read captions or text on television. But for listening to radio, you need not be literate at all. You can listen to programs or news in any language on the radio. Next, for a majority of Indians in the rural areas, radio is the only source of news and entertainment. Radio news can be heard anywhere using an inexpensive receiver. Even the most economically backward section can afford to use the medium of radio. Radio is the best medium of entertainment. It provides healthy entertainment to the listeners. There is a plenty of music of different types available to people. The popular types of music are classical, light devotional, folk and film music. Limitation of radio broadcast. So far, We have learned about the main strength of radio as a medium of mass communications. Now, let us understand the limitation of radio. First, a one chance medium. When you read a newspaper, you can keep it with you and read it again. You have the printed word there, and unless the paper is destroyed, it will remain with you. Suppose when you read a news item, you do not understand the meaning of certain words, you can refer to a dictionary or ask someone who knows to find out the meaning. Now think of radio. Suppose you are listening to a news bulletin in English and you hear word that you don't understand. Can you refer to a dictionary or ask someone else for the meaning? If you stop to do that, you will miss the rest of the news. You have to understand what is being said on radio as you listen. You have only one chance to listen. What is said on radio does not exist any longer unless you record it. The word have momentary life after it is spoken. It disappears unlike a newspaper or a printed book. So that it is one of the greatest limitations or weakness of radio. Its momentary nature, or to put it differently, radio is a one chance medium. A listener has just one chance to receive the message and understand it. Next one, radio has no visual images. Let us consider a news item on radio and the same item on the television. For example, the news about the devastating cyclone Nargis that hit Myanmar in May 2008. Radio news talked about the intensity of the cyclone, the number of deaths, details about the property destroyed, etc. However, in the case of television, it showed the actual cyclone hitting the country, visual of properties destroyed, rescue operations, and many more details which could be seen. Now, compare the two. A natural disaster like a cyclone when seen on television is more effective than what you heard on radio. Next one, messages on radio are easily forgotten. The problem of not having visual leads to another limitation of radio. What is seen is often remembered and may remain with us. For example, if you have seen the fine visual of the Taj Mahal in Agra, it will remain in your memory. But what you hear is normally forgotten fast. Probably you may remember what you have heard in a classroom if you found it interesting. But can you recall all the headlines of a news bulletin you heard on radio? Normally you don't. So this is another limitation of radio. Messages heard on radio are easily forgotten. Next one, poor performance on the part of announcers. Presenters or participation in a radio program can be boring or uninteresting that it can result in listeners switching off their radio sets. So listeners' interest depends upon how information or messages are presented. Radio broadcasts are of no use to people who have no sense of hearing, especially those with hearing disabilities. I hope you understand the topic of characteristics of radio. Thank you very much.